I'll call them to order. First, let's go through and look at minutes. We can do March 31st, which was this meeting we had with Gov OS about short-term rental management system.
I'll make a motion to accept those meetings as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, next is meeting last week, April 4th, with any changes or,
Nope, I'll make a motion to approve the April 4th meeting minutes as presented.
Second.
okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then we just need to sign the other ones. They were approved. You made the changes. We're good to go. Okay. That's that. Perfect.
Jack, I'm gonna just sign your name.
I already did.
All right. All right, next thing on the agenda is discussion on the energy efficient investments. Energy efficient investments is a company that we had come and do a review of this building's mechanical systems.
HVAC and air quality, right?
Yeah, heating and air conditioning. And of course, everything that's, most everything that's in here are 23 years old. And there's several problems with both heating and air conditioning and air quality. They've presented here a 4-page letter outlining each, whatever zone or room and what the issues are and what the proposed solution is. I've looked at it, it's far more complex, I guess, than it's not just replacing the units upstairs with newer units. You know, they're suggesting some different types of units to get heat, air circulation better, and both the heating and the cooling more evened out. That there are rooms that are too hot or too cold at various times of the year, and airflow isn't efficient. Was that?
The building was unable to be balanced, so you need to do some of these measures so you can properly balance and get where you need to be.
Yeah. It seems like a lot for a building of this size. I'm not an expert at this. Have you or Nate looked at this and is this,
I haven't seen
Nate
it.
has.
is this the best way to move forward, or are there simpler solutions to some of the air handling problems?
See, downstairs, they were under the impression that this would mitigate most of the air quality issues they're having downstairs. Right now, there's nothing in the evidence, there's no air going in, there's no air going out.
And that was pointed
And
out.
this would solve that problem. The moisture in that one HVAC closet that gets mold constantly, this would solve that problem.
Right.
DC did reach out to the company last week to verify that, but they haven't returned his call yet. He wanted to verify that. And the reason why I wanted to verify it was if that in fact handles all the issues downstairs and upstairs as far as air quality and ventilation and et cetera, heat and the AC and whatever, then this may be the way to go. But I wanted to verify that first.
Okay. And you don't have the number that was part of the schedule?
It was real close to 400,000.
Okay. I guess just, it's a little bit of a shock, because in the past, when we had talked about, what is it, 6 units up there, I believe?
It's also addressing the units outside.
And that's true, that there's some,
Well, yeah, your air conditions out there, your heating
heats
is.
up here.
Right.
So there's 3 upstairs, 3 downstairs.
And haven't some of the ones outside been
Two of
replaced?
them are new and there's one that we have, it just needs to be installed.
Okay,
But it addresses the remaining ones. Is addressed in that quote.
okay. And the ones that are new, they're in like the 20,000 range to buy and install them?
No, I think it's 5,000 range each. Because we had 10,000 in the budget for 2 of them and we only purchased 1.
Well, that's just for the condenser.
The unit,
Just
just for the
condenser
unit,
units.
correct.
Yeah, just the condenser, not the heating,
Correct,
portion.
just that unit out there,
Yeah.
right,
because that's your compressor. and
correct,
All right.
It's a unit out there.
right. And that's what we were replacing piecemeal, 1 or 2 a
Because-
year.
Again, design, moisture, salt
Right,
is eating away at the units
right.
and age.
Well, yeah, they were at the end of their life.
You know, I think that the town is gonna continue to use this building in the long term.
Absolutely.
You know, if, I should say, if, when we build a new building.
Even in
Some
the,
people will have
even in the
to-
short term though, we have employees that are,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
need good quality air to work in, yeah.
I just wasn't thinking that this was gonna be a $400,000 investment just for the heating. It's.
Oh, I 100% think that we need a second opinion or another estimate, there's no question there.
Well, you have
I
to
would
follow your
not
first
jump on this.
policy Anyway.
Right, right, well, this was, they came in and did the whole study, you know, the whole.
yeah.
And we definitely need another, a second opinion or another quote or something. I think this was, Butch had this done prior to him.
Yeah, this
Leaving.
dates back to September.
Right, so we need to have another follow-up company come in and
iPhones.
confirm.
Was that?
iPhones coming in again.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I mean, my suggestion was to have Karina follow up and obtain another estimate, get another
Get someone
opinion.
else in here
Yeah.
to look at the building.
Maybe
You know
we'll-
what? Let's see if we can get maybe two or 3 more. I mean, you know, everybody's got different ideas about how to handle it, obviously. And, you know, it doesn't have to be, let's stamp it and say it's done. I would prefer to also put items in, prioritize them so that, you know, we get the worst where people are actually physically sitting 8 hours a day, get that done first if we have to phase it in. Again, depending upon the overall cost.
That was explained to this company when they came in, and I remember that conversation being had. And their response was very clear that this is not something you do piecemeal. This is a all-encompassing unit, air handling system that it, you know, one goes with the other. However, I don't disagree. If there's a company that can come in and do it that way, great. This company couldn't. Also, there were a couple of companies that were contacted and they would not do the analysis and the estimate for free. Some that, this one, there was no cost to this one, that's why this company was chosen. So we'll have to be prepared to pay for analysis of cost if that's what we want to do.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand that. I mean, it's not like a quick quote where you measure square footage of a carpet or
Agreed,
something. You
agreed.
know, they're gonna look at the systems.
This was
you know, but I don't
also
wanna waste-
all mid-COVID too, where
Yeah.
all of those companies were sought after highly,
Right,
so
Yeah, and they-
that
they-
could have had a, yeah.
They used a lot of electronic equipment, air sampling equipment.
Right,
They actually put the petri dishes out,
Right.
tested the mold. And the police had to assign the officer in charge of the evidence room because that's a secure area.
Right,
The person that's assigned to that had to accompany that person in there, do the air sampling. It's quite a process. I mean, they left the air sampling device in a room for X amount of time. They took the initial reading, and then a reading after 20 minutes, whatever, and then they would calculate a time weighted average for that room. And obviously downstairs was probably worse, you know, especially the mold situation and the off gassing and the evidence from the no air exchange, which can adversely affect other areas around that room, because the return air in our current system here blows out certain ducts and goes back in the honeycombs, like in the corner, goes into the airspace here. So whatever's going on in here, this system shuts down, the next system may draw some of that and it gets commingled. So that's part of the reason why that quote was probably so high, because you've got to mitigate that situation, get it balanced in your building. So actually taking and making return air from this room go back to its own unit, go through a filtering system, and then it's back here treated or conditioned.
Yeah.
Instead of taking commingled air on an entire level and it getting drawn into multiple HVAC units.
Without
And
filtering.
whoever's calling, it's gonna go, all right, I'm gonna go to dispatch now.
Right.
But that one shuts down. Well, let's go to the squad room and we'll send a little bit his way.
Right.
So,
So, yeah.
so that could be part of the reason why that quote is so much, because this really wasn't a science project when they built this building or rebuilt it. It just went back together.
Yeah.
So, just my thoughts.
A lot of cost cutting was done when this building was renovated. So yeah, I'd like to ask Karina to see about getting a second opinion.
At least a second, if
At
not
least a second, if not a third,
third.
depending on the cost.
in availability.
Exactly. And maybe she could get an estimate. Could you pass that along to her?
Yes.
She could get an estimate on what a second opinion would be from. Okay. Thank you so much, Jane.
All right, so that discussion will continue once we know from Karina, you know, what's available for a second or third quote, what it's gonna cost, what the
Yeah.
time frame is, and we'll take it. This is something that, in my opinion, needs to be done fairly efficiently. I mean, you know, if we have mold
Agreed.
in some of the spaces downstairs, I mean, that's not good. But on the other hand, I hate to jump into a $400,000 project without understanding what the options, alternatives, you know,
Agreed.
this is one company's look at the system, but someone else come in and say, well, that is a problem, but a different way to handle it would be such and such. I mean, I don't know, I'm not an expert at this, so.
No, I understand. Absolutely.
I mean, what did the whole building cost to renovate? I mean, 400,000 has got to be a huge.
Well, you're also talking 20-something years
I
ago,
know,
so.
but still, that's just a huge cost. Huge cost. All right, next on the agenda is just town manager's report. Karina's not able to be with us today. She did have a weekly status report printed. She did submit a letter of interest to the New Hampshire DOT for the recreation and trail and parking area for the old hole. The DOT will submit that letter of interest to the Federal Highway Administration on our behalf. As this is a newly announced program, DOT will be developing details about the process for reviewing and prioritizing the applications in the coming weeks. So that's good news that,
Right, that's that
At
National
least-
Scenic Byways grant. Yeah.
right, at least we threw in our application and you know, I think there's a couple of things in our favor. It's all approved. We have easements. It's ready to go. And I would think that in the scope of things, it's a fairly inexpensive project. I mean, you know, we're talking a few days of labor with
Right.
with some, you know, a backhoe or whatever, some signage. It's not an expensive project, so let's see where that goes. The South Peak water tank easement. Oh, Jack, you probably didn't see this. These were in our folder. It's kind of an outline of the proposed easement area, which is a big, basically 300 feet across the whole, and this is in your folder, you can pick it up and look at it, but across the
Yep.
whole area of where, between the water treatment plant and the original proposed location of the filter, it's just a big swath, rectangle across that whole section. And then asking for an easement for that, and then to be finalized with a more narrow width once the location of the road is set in place. And I guess this was sent to Mark Bogosian. It was emailed to Mark Bogosian for his legal team to review. So ball's in his court at this point. She also updated us. She sent a letter to Joe Chenard. And our attorney on the junkyard case is reaching out to Joe's attorney to nail down a date for the site visit to the Chenard properties. The letter that was sent stated that the inspection needed to be completed before April 20th. And this was sent back in February, so it wasn't like we just gave him a short notice. Right. And then her final thing is that we're still waiting for a formal quote from the GovOS company that gave us a presentation, but we've not received any formal quote, and that was the next step. So that too is in their court to handle. With that, my only questions for Karina have, are on this sheet, not that she's here to answer them, specifically, but they've been addressed. Did you have anything?
I didn't.
Jack, do you have anything?
No, sir.
All
Wait,
right.
did you beat my record?
Well, I don't know. We're not done yet.
12 minutes was your record. I've got it written down here in stone.
Oh, you didn't. Okay, we're good. But we still have some stuff to vote on and sign.
So, all right, then. First of all, we have a request for a special event. The running of the Bears 5K. This is the Linwood Ambulance fundraiser.
That's
5K road race benefiting Linwood Ambulance. It starts at Clark's Trading Post, comes down Connector Road, goes in the back entrance to the Hobo. It goes out onto Main Street. It goes west on Route 112 into North Woodstock,
And then back to Clark.
turns right on Route 3 at the lights and back to Clark's.
In there, they're also requesting that we waive the fee, which would be $50. So I'll make a motion that we approve their special event request and waive the fee.
Okay,
I'll second that, but I have some questions or discussion maybe.
okay, we have a motion in a second. Go ahead, Jack.
First of all, I mean, some of this road race is going over State Highway 112, correct?
Correct. And Route 3.
Right up Route 3, right. So they'll need, I think, DOT permission also. And I remember when we ran a bike race for New England Disabled Sports, we had to agree to certain conditions that they imposed upon us as far as signage goes and details, et cetera. So, your motion, Tammy, I'm in favor of it, but let's make sure all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed.
We went through that a few years ago with the rec department did the turkey trot. And then we did the turkey trot Thanksgiving time, and then we also did,
The pumpkin walk.
Pumpkin was.
No.
Okay,
and then we also did the 5K during Community Fest.
correct.
And we're told we did not need, because we went down Main Street, Connector Road, Pollard
Right.
Road, around, back down Main Street again. and we're specifically told that we're not impeding traffic. That everybody said it was all sidewalked, other than our Pollard Road at the time, which is town, but it's all sidewalked. That runners would be on, so we did not need a permit. Bikes, however, may have needed one because they'd be on the road. I don't know,
Okay,
but we did not.
We were on the state highway. We're on 112.
Right, the runners did not because they would be on
No.
the sidewalks, not in, they wouldn't be impeding traffic at all.
Or in breakdown lanes.
Right,
Or
so
Like fake waste.
There was no, oh, well, that was not us anyway, we did here.
Oh.
Woodstock is Woodstock. But the only place there wasn't a sidewalk at the time was Pollard Road, but it was a town road, so they didn't have any say in that. So
all right.
we don't need one.
Well, I think Jack's point is that we got a letter recently from the DOT about basically the town needs to now notify the DOT on anything on a state highway.
Mhm.
Logging operation, driveway permit, construction easement, I mean, anything.
So can I revise my,
Let's leave the motion the same, but pass along
Pending.
this with a request that they need to get DOT permission.
or
Or
verify that
verify
they don't?
need it.
Right.
Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'd hate like heck to get everything in order and then somebody said, well, you don't have the proper permitting, you can't run it. So,
Exactly.
You got that?
Right. So,
Awesome. Okay,
all right, we have a motion, a second, anything else? All those in favor?
Aye. And Jane, you'll make sure that Clark's knows that, or Meg
Meg.
is doing it, yeah, that she. And
Is it the same path as last year?
yes,
Yeah.
2 years ago.
2 years.
Yeah,
ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
It is, it is.
Wondering.
Yeah,
And I don't believe they're gonna need that permission, but she needs to verify that she doesn't.
they're not doing the tennis tournament anymore, so this is turned into one
Right.
of the bigger events.
Right.
All right, we have 3 abatement requests. First one is a property at 122 Coolidge Falls Road. The new owner is asking to waive the interest in the amount of $97.88 for the 2021 fall tax bill. He never received the original tax bill because it was mailed to the previous owner. He bought the property in November of 2021. And I guess when he got the December tax bill, it was sent to the
Went to the
wrong
wrong owner. Yeah.
No.
I'll make a motion to approve that abatement.
Okay, second,
second,
all those in favor?
Aye.
The next one is a 46 Good Boo Road. There was a $20 cost was applied to this account due to a lien notice when there was a credit on another account owned by one of the same owners of this property. He pays monthly on 2 accounts and never saying which account to apply the amount to. Consequently, amounts have been credited to the wrong account, which in turn created an amount due. I'd like to abate the cost of $20 and the interest of $2.46. And again, we had the money, it was just credited to the wrong, no, I shouldn't say the wrong, it was credited to a
another
different account
yeah.
because it wasn't specific what account it was supposed to be credited to.
so we're not going to abate it then. We're just going to allow a transfer from one account to another to,
No. He's asking that we abate the interest and the $20 recording, is that right? The fee to issue
The lien notice fee.
Yeah.
And the interest is what he's asking to abate.
oh, okay, all right,
I'll make a motion to approve that request.
I'll
Okay,
second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the third one is that same thing. It's at the $20 lien notice. This is a different property. It's 90 Loon Mountain Road,
Same owner,
Unit.
different owner?
different owner,
Different owner,
but it's the
Same
same
issue. Gotcha.
circumstance.
gotcha.
She owns multiple properties and
90 Loon Mountain Road, they're all timeshares. I
timeshares.
assume,
So some of her payment was credited to a different account. This one had the $20 fee for a lien notice. And then it was straightened out that it didn't need a lien notice because her other property got the credit for it. So this is abating
interest?
just the $20. Apparently there was no interest charge and this got caught in time,
Oh, gotcha.
which, no, it says interest $1.19.
Well, maybe she didn't ask for it. Maybe she just asked for the lien fee.
Okay,
I'll make a motion. We approve that request.
okay,
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
These last two that we just did came about from them submitting funds, here's the, to the town without specifying what tax map and lot number the taxes were supposed to go to. And I mean, there's no need for that. It's simple enough. When you're sending in your check, you either put in the slip that shows what it's for,
Right.
or you write it on the check. I would suggest that we do whatever we can do, and I know there's legal restrictions as to what can go on a tax bill,
Mhm.
but some sort of language that says, if you own multiple properties and you don't tell us what account to apply this to, we will do our best. But if there's any errors, we will not be waiving interest and fees associated with accounts
Mm.
that we get money for that we don't know what you're sending it, what specific tax and map lot number it's for. I don't know how to word that, and I'm sure DRA will have a say in what we can and cannot print, but
Would you like me to have that conversation with Sandy to see what we can do?
sure,
Okay.
sure. It just seems crazy that, if you're able to own 2 or more lots or
Right.
properties in this town, just write the number on the check of what they're good for,
Right.
you know?
It looks like, it sounded like anyway, that they were the folks that pay monthly and just don't specify, write one check for the 2 properties or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to be a little more specific on.
And again, if you have an automatic payment set up, you can put something in the memo line
Exactly, yep.
on your automatic checks. I mean, just write down tax map and lot number.
Agreed.
Anyway, that's my vicious comment for the night.
Vicious. It wasn't that vicious, OJ. You need to try harder.
We don't have any, I don't have anything for non-public. Tammy,
I don't have anything for non-public.
Jack,
No, did we hear from Jason?
Not
When
yet.
we had
No.
that meeting?
No, not yet.
Okay.
all right, I'm gonna just look at the bills to pay and I think we're good. So I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Are we going to do public participation before we adjourn?
There's no one here.
There isn't anybody.
Oh, see, I can't tell that.
Hey. Nope, it's just us.
All right, I'll second that motion.
All right, all
Thanks,
those in
Jack.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right.